You can call me worshipper, you can call me follower, but I'm just a wanderer in search of my.
Assalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya wal Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Adada khalqihi wa rida nafsihi wa zinata arshihi wa midada kalimatih. Amma ba'du fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. يا أيها الناس اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون صدق الله العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا. We begin by thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, praising Him that indeed He has honored us with the blessed month of Ramadan. He has honored us with the blessed day of Friday. And my dear brothers and elders, remember when Ramadan started, we were thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we were thanking Him for the first Friday, and unfortunately this is the last Friday of the month of Ramadan. So we should bid it farewell, and we should do it in such a way, be in a thankful heart that He has enabled us to live on such a day, but also given us an opportunity to ponder and reflect and to turn back to Him for those of us who haven't. For those of us who haven't, it is an opportunity, a blessing for us to turn our hearts, our minds towards Him. Because if we don't, as you know, the first 10 days of Ramadan were the days of mercy, of rahmah. The second 10 days were the days of forgiveness. And these latter 10 days are days in which you get expiation from the fire of hell. Now, if after those days of mercy, if after the days of forgiveness, and we're entering the days in which we get expiation, our hearts are not changing, our minds are not changing, our attitudes are not changing, our amal is not changing, our behavior and conduct is not changing. You tell me, my dear brothers and elders, what will change us? What is going to change me and you? If we're still struggling to pray the way we were before Ramadan, in Ramadan we're struggling, what is going to help me and you then? If we're still struggling to actually even lift the page of the Quran, to recite His Kalam, to remember Him, then what is going to happen after Ramadan then, if we're still living? There's no guarantee. This is the thing, is that me and you have been deceived for some reason. Shaitan has somehow deceived me and you, thinking that we're going to live tomorrow. You're going to live next week. You're going to live another 10 years, 50 years, 100 years. Just now, I just heard one of our brothers who partaking in Itikaaf, his sister just passed away. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive her and elevate her status. Blessed man to go away. But you know, I know, that there is no guarantee whether we're going to be living tomorrow or not. Let alone tomorrow, there's no guarantee we'll live the next second or not. But it's purely by the fazl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we are existing. Now think, ponder and reflect, is that has the months and days of Ramadan had the effect of us changing and molding and going towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not? If it hasn't, then you should worry. And you should think, what do I do? What can I do? How can I really connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How can I really, in these latter days, few days, 4 or 5 days left, that we can really change? Because you can. There is no giving up hope. You can change. You can really go and connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the latter days. Now, as you know, in these days, what we've done is that those of us who are sitting in Itikaaf, sat in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's a great blessing that we're in the sat in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, worshipping Him, remembering Him to the best of our ability, being His Dhuyufur Rahman, we're being the guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His house. should be easier for us now to be really connecting, especially in our prayers. It should be easy for us now because we don't have the baggage of dunya with us. Dunya is outside, work is outside, we've left the work, we've left the dunya, it's all outside. It should be easy now for me and you now to really connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shouldn't it? Shouldn't it? If you're in Itikaaf, you're in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is descending, you are sat in the majalis of dhikr and nasih, and most of the time, it should be really easy now for us to change and to connect. Yes, still some of us are still struggling. Some of us are still struggling. Haqiqatan, this is it. Why? Why is it that we're still struggling? Because what we've come is in the epicenter of rahmah, of blessings, which is His house, His blessings is descending. We're in the epicenter of the month, which is the month of Ramadan. We're in the epicenter of the latter days of Ramadan, where people are being forgiven and expiated for of hell. Why is it that me and you are still not feeling that effect? Why are we not feeling the effect? Why is this not having effect? Reason being is because there is something that is blocking that effect coming through. And that's known as sins. Zulma, darkness of sins, of bad intentions, bad motives, bad ta'alakat, bad relationship. This is what's hindering us. Because, as you heard yesterday, what is good akhlaq, good ihsan? What is ihsan? As the Prophet was asked, or Prophet asked Sayyidina Abu Hurairah ta'ala an, what is ihsan? What is khuluq? What is good akhlaq? What was the one of the things that they mentioned? 3 things they mentioned. Who could remember them? Anyone could remember them? Anyone? Anyone remember? Yes? If somebody deprives you, try to actually take things away from you, wealth, or try to even destroy you even, what do? You do good to them. That's good akhlaq. So you should ponder is that in my life, in my daily life, is this a thing which is blocking me? Is this a thing which is hindering my connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What's another? Anyone? I think we have to give us a homework then, inshallah. You'll have to definitely find that as a homework, and we'll have to ask you again. So you have to revise that. So next is for homework, inshallah. This is for those of you partaking in Itikaaf. Anyhow, is that what we're saying is that these are the days in which is the blessed days of Ramadan, blessed days of Itikaaf, latter days, and we're still not feeling the effect of turning towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is nothing wrong with the days. There is nothing wrong with the month. There is nothing wrong with the hours. There's something wrong with me and you. And sometimes it's just a matter of changing of intention. To intend. A lot of the times, many a times, all it takes is for us to intend to change. To intend to ask forgiveness. To intend to actually seek forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is the catalyst, that's the thing that opens the heart and molds the heart and reconnects it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Have you not heard the hadith of Sahih Bukhari where here the person who killed 99 people or 100 people, he had an intention to change. He had the intention to change. If I were to come to me and you, if we were to say, brother, I've killed your sister, I've killed your mother. You say, that's it, I need to kill you as well. Then that's what our response would be. No, the response is this. You kill one person, he's a murderer. Kill 2 people, another, it's 10 people. This is genocide, that's how we can say this is the mass murderer. He's killed not 10, not 20, but 100 people. He is killed, yet still he has the want to be forgiven. He has the want to be forgiven. Because he knows that Allah SWT, His mercy and forgiveness is so vast that is not something, such a massive sin. If the whole galaxy was filled with sins, for Allah SWT, it's nothing. All He has to do is just say, forgiven, and that's it, is gone. But me and you are the one who are blocking that. Psychologically, what we've done, we've built in our head is that my baggage is too much. My sins are like Mount Everest. My sins is like the whole earth. It's like filled with the earth. It's so vast. No, psychologically, this is what myself and nafs and shaitan is making us to think. All we have to do is just make intention that yes, truly indeed, Allah is most merciful and He can forgive. And there's no other Lord that we can turn to who can forgive us. Is there? Is there any other Lord that we can turn to? Do we have any other gods we can na'uzubillah? No, we don't. He is Rabbul Alameen. He is the only being who can forgive. He is the only being that we can turn to. And He is the only being that we can seek help from. So as you know, these are the latter 10 days. What we should be doing, as we're bidding farewell to the month of Ramadan, days of Ramadan, similarly, it's an analogy we can use for our life as well. Me and you are thinking we have years left. Maybe we're 30, we're 40, 20. We think we've got years left. But maybe we're in the latter days, like we're bidding farewell to the month of Ramadan this last Friday. Maybe this could be our last Friday. This could be our latter days. This could be the days when we don't see each other again. That's it, is coming. We're coming to the end of our days. And what should we do when we come to the latter days? We should be turning and focusing more on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Reflect and ponder on our life. How is my relation between me and my Lord? What is my relation between me and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? What is my relationship with me and the fellow creation? Have I got that good and sound and wonderful relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before I pass away? Have I got a good and sound relation with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam before I pass away? Have I got a good and beautiful sound relation with the creation before I pass away? Or is it the opposite? This is something for us to ponder. And this is something that we fail to do most of the time. Because why? Dunya is busying us. Because work is busying us. Because children are busying us. Family is busying us. Work is busying us. Food is busying us. Enjoyment is busying us. But we fail to actually busy our mind with the thinking of our akhirah and the thinking of our grave and the ultimate abode. We're here for a few days, some of us for Itikaaf, some of us a bit more. Forget the dunya. Leave it. Stop thinking about your family, your children. Forget your work. Forget your business. Just recalibrate your life, recalibrate your heart, recalibrate your mind, and think, where am I in relationship to my life with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? With the deen? With Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And what do I need to do now to rekindle that relationship again if it's lost? That is what we should be focusing on. Everybody's after, if I was to tell you there's a special serum, a special water, which will give you life till eternity, you say, no, you're kidding me. It can't be true. So let's just say there is a water. There is a special water that if you drink, you will live forever. Who would want that? Everybody wants it. Celebrities want it. All the different creams that they get in, they're trying to live longer, they want it. Everybody wants it. Nobody really wants to die. Nobody really wants to go old. Nobody really wants to fall ill. But if I was to tell you there was a special water that if you drink, you can live forever, which once upon a time there was a king and he heard about this, he called his minister and said, listen, my ministers, come here. I want you to now find me that water. Find me and go around throughout the world and find me that water. They were concerned, where are we going to find such a water? Where is it going to be? We can't find such a water. Who can know about it? Then what they did was they went and consulted, they asked, they found that there may be a person in a village somewhere, he might know. So one of the ministers, he ran, he consulted the king, there may be somebody who knows, we're going to go to him. So he sent him to this person. Now this person was a good man, pious man, a righteous man, a friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He knew where the water was. But he also knew that people would come knock on his door for it. So he used to close the door. He said, no, I don't. So when the ministers came to his village, they knocked on the door. Assalamu alaikum, oh friend of Allah, we're here, you're a good person. Can you please direct us and tell us where this water is, where it gives you eternal life, bliss, and happiness? Where can we get this water from? They said, go away, I don't know of such a thing. You're just making things up. This is just a myth, it's not true. He said, no, we've been told by the people of the village that you're a truthful person and you wouldn't lie. So tell us, where is this water? Because then the king's authority, the king has sent me. Please tell me, otherwise there'll be repercussions. He said, if you're threatening me, then definitely I'm not going to open the door. He said, no, we're not threatening you. Please just help us, because our lives is in danger as well if you do not give the water. Because the king has instructed that if you do not give us the water, we shouldn't come back. So please, just help us. He said, okay, then I'll help you. But also gather a few of the villages as well. I want them to also have some of this water as well. So please gather the people of the village, ask them and give the news that if they also want the water of life, tell them to come and we should travel together. So they gave the news. Some people said, oh no. Some people said, oh yes, okay, let's go. So half the village, let's say, came with the ministers, and they went, in the old days, they went by ship. They sailed far and days they sailed. Some people felt tired and sick. They were thinking, what is this person taking us? This is just foolish. This journey is very long, it's tiresome. Some of them were vomiting. They cannot take the journey. Eventually, after days, they reached a land, an island. They reached an island. As soon as they reached the island, some of them got off the ship and they said, we're not going any further, we've had enough. He said, okay, if you want to rest, you rest here. The rest of you just follow me. Grab whatever you got for the journey ahead until we get to our destination. So then they followed the guy, they followed the person, they followed him. They've gone through the jungle. There were snakes, there were animals. Some of them were getting bitten. Some of them were tired. Their feet were hurting. Legs were hurting. Then someone said, oh, we've had enough. We're going back. So as this was happening, less and less people were actually with the person. Eventually, they reached a mountain point where they have to go to underneath in a cave. They said, look where he's taken us now. First we had a sea journey. Now he took us through all the way to the jungle. Now he wants us to go in the cave. What is this? This is ridiculous. So some of them said, no, we're not going in. He said, okay, doesn't matter. What I want you to do, whoever wants to come with me, just tie a rope and grab onto each other and just follow me. Just follow me. And carry on until I take you there. So some of them then carried on, walking in the dark. Imagine, they couldn't see anything. It was dark. There's no light as such. But the person knew where the water was. Said, follow, carry on, walk. As they're walking, pebbles were hitting them. Some of them bleeding. Said, no, we've had enough. Some just fell on the ground and they tried to make their way back. Eventually, one by one, they started to dwindle. Eventually, only a handful of people reached the water of life. He said, okay, drink now. So they drank. When they drank, they felt the bliss, they felt the peace, they felt the tranquility, and then what happened? They took back some water for the king. As they went back, they found a few people still sat there loitering there. So what the person said is that, the pious man said, is that grab, you see on the floor, you can feel the rocks, grab whatever rocks you can. Cholo, you haven't got the water, but grab whatever rocks you can, put whatever you can put in your pockets, and grab them and take them. Someone said, it's so hard for us to even walk back, and now he wants to carry the pebbles and rocks. We're not doing it. Forget it. But some of them thought, okay, cholo, he's a good person. Just listen to what he said. Just grab whatever you can. They put it in their pocket and they come out. When they came out, they saw that these rocks and pebbles were no ordinary rocks and pebbles. They were gems and rubies. At that time, they were worth millions and millions of pounds. They thought, this is amazing. This is wonderful. This is what we wanted. This will secure us for the rest of our life. And they were so happy, elated with the person, with the shaykh, with the buzurg. They kissed his hand and hugged him. Unfortunately, they didn't get the water of life, but they managed to actually get some of the gems and the rocks. Eventually, they went to the king, they presented the water, and that's it. Now, this is not a story for the sake of telling a story, but for me and you to understand. And I'm going to finish here, is that life, this journey is representing our life in this world. The darkness of the cave, as you can see, is the darkness of dunya. Very hard. We feel tiresome, gruesome, difficult for us to carry out good deeds, amal salihah, for us to pray, for us to worship, for us to keep fast even, for us to go hajj, and for us to actually be doing good deeds. It's very difficult, burdensome sometimes. You may think it's not easy, it's hard. But just persevere, like the pious person said, do it and grab whatever you can. Some of us, by grabbing those, may also reach the eternal water of life, which is the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this dunya. Some of us will taste the water of life, the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this dunya, His presence and His huduri. But some of us who don't, at least if we can take those gems of good deeds, when we go to the light and we come out of the cave and come to the light of the akhirah, only then will you know the value of what you did in this world. And you appreciate it. And you'll thank the teachers, our asatizas, our shaykh, our teachers, for teaching us how to do these good deeds. So value the time that we've got in these latter days. Exert yourself as much as possible in good deeds and amal salihah. Connect yourself with Allah, the messenger, and with the teacher, and strive to do as good as possible before our death comes. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
You can perform the sunnah.